Good morning, people. It's your boy Comet Chat. I'm back with another encouragement from Comet Chat. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning here in South Carolina, and I'm here with another word of the day and another quote of the day, trying to give encouragement to fellow YouTubers and anyone out there that's willing or able to listen to anything that I might want to say. Before we get into it, I want you to do this one thing for me, and that is please subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. If this is your first time ever viewing my channel, please hit that notification bell. Make sure you hit notification bell, click on all, because any material that I upload, I want you to definitely be able to click on any device that you're going to be using, your phone, your iPad, desktop, anything you may be using. Go ahead and click that notification bell and all, because I don't want you to miss anything that I upload. Also, give me that thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Don't ask me how. All I know is that it does. And also, last but not least, leave a comment. Any comment that you leave, I will definitely read and try to respond back to you in an encouraging way, in a timely fashion. Now, in case some of you don't know, this is something that I did with my kids. They call it Danny's Weekly Wisdom Quotes. And I would send them a quote usually 2 or 3 times a week. There's different things that I thought about, a word of the day, also a quote of the day, and I would follow up with little my points and views and thoughts on that particular word and quote. So I want to do that same thing with you, try to encourage you. I'm just trying, hey, do something positive, and I hope that it leads you and makes you feel good, makes just something to make you think. Just something to make you think, make you ponder and say, okay, that is a good point. Maybe I'll use that, maybe to help somebody out. Well, anyway, as you can see down here below, right there, no, this way, looking all crazy. Boom. Aggravation. Aggravation is the word of the day. And you know, I always love to give definitions to my words. And of course, aggravation here is an intensification or a negative quality or aspect. Intensification or of a negative quality or aspect. Also a cause of annoyance or irritation. An act of circumstance that intensifies something or makes something worse. Whew. How many times have we all been aggravated in our life? And sometimes we let that thing simmer and let it cook. When it simmers and it cooks, it's like a pressure cooker. And when that thing finally explodes, oh my Lord, it can be something intense. It can be something very hurtful. Sometimes it can be irreparable. So man, aggravation, that's something you gotta try and get in control. We all been aggravated, but there's different levels of aggravation. Sometimes there's intense aggravation, there's minor aggravation. But when you get to that intense and that boiling over, and when you look at that person, they walk in the room, and you want to strangle them or you just want to just knock them out, whew, you can't let it get to that point. Cannot let it get to that point. Anyway, there is not a quote. I don't have this. I don't have a quote for today. I can't believe it. But aggravation is something that the definition that it is an intensification of a negative quality or aspect. I can't believe they did a quote that day. Please forgive me. That won't happen again. But what I said to my kids and my thoughts on this word aggravation was this. Aggravation can start off small as a mustard seed, but over time it can grow, and once it is in full bloom, it can be destructive as any tornado or hurricane. Whew. I was in my bag that day when I said that, boy. I don't know. Boy, I was really into it. So I'm trying to pat myself on the back. That was a good quote, Danny. Good quote. But let me say that one more time. Aggravation can start off as small as a mustard seed, but over time it can grow, and once it is in full bloom, it can be destructive as any tornado or hurricane. Like I said earlier, how many times we let that aggravation, something that's bother us and stick in our craw and stick in our craw. And then when we finally had enough and sometimes something just sets us off, boom, it can be very, very destructive. Sometimes it can be days, months, years before someone gets over that. I've seen something happen in my family. I won't get to great detail, but they didn't talk for years because something just aggravated them. Aggravated when it exploded. It exploded, and boy, it was crazy. Aggravation can lead to a feeling of disdain and contempt for someone, which can grow to anger, which then leads to hatred. Whew, that's a step. Aggravation, something small as a mustard seed, can go to disdain. Once a person feels disdain for someone, then that turns into contempt, another level. And once that contempt it goes into anger. And then once that anger gets so powerful, anger turns to hatred. And boy, when it turns to hatred, it can really be destructive. Aggravation, boy. I tell you, if left unchecked, aggravation can grow and transform to hatred. And hatred is something, boy, that's very strong emotion. Things can happen to a coworker that can cause a friendship to be lost, or even a family member. It can even put a wedge between a parent and a child. I've seen that so many times. Parent and child don't be on the same page. When a child gets a certain age, then tired of being treated as a child, or a parent is trying to do what's right, or a parent sometimes can be immature too. It goes both ways. The parent can be the problem, sometimes the child can be the problem. They just can't get along. It's like oil and water. And that can drive a wedge, the aggravation, the little things that you had to endure as a child, but now you feel like you're an adult. Or the parent feels like, look, I've been doing this, I've been taking care of you, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, and you still ain't getting it right. And that family, and that mother or that father or that uncle, that niece, whatever, gets aggravated with the younger one, and then that anger can turn, that aggravation can turn to resentment. I've seen it. I think we all must truly look at ourselves in the mirror and recognize the flaws that someone else sees and tell us about instead of just saying, I'm being me. And if you don't like it, tough. Boy, I've said that so many times in my past, and I'm trying to change. And I see this a lot of time, and it's a stereotype, but you see people from up north, especially New Yorkers, they'll come down south, whatever, and they may say, I'm not being mad or not being this, just the way I talk. In New York, we do this, we do this, we do that. Or whatever part of the state. But I'm just using that because that's someone, as an example I've seen all the time. Being in law enforcement, I've stopped people traveling from New York and they have a certain attitude. I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong, whatever, but it's just different than what we see down here in the South on a day-to-day basis. And basically, they like to say, I'm just being me, I'm just being me. But sometimes you gotta watch just being you. Sometimes you gotta know your environment. You gotta know what to say, how to act, read body language, read body cues, because little things can aggravate people and you don't know it. And like I said, when that aggravation starts and it's not checked or it's not weeded out, it can grow to hatred, it can grow to disdain, it can grow to anger, all that stuff. And when it explodes, it can be devastating. In life, we will have our ups and downs and disagreements, but it should never get to a point where we can hardly stand to be around a loved one. That is something that I, as a father, as a patriarch of my family, I will not let happen. If I see something's going on with one of my children or my wife or something, I'm not going to let it build up. I'm not going to let it turn to disdain. Now, aggravation, we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. We're going to try and come to a happy medium. We're going to try and come to a point where I hear you, I understand you, but let's just agree to disagree. But just letting it sit there and simmer and simmer and simmer, that's a recipe that leads to divorce, that leads to you not talking to your children, that leads to you not talking to your grandchildren, that leads to your child getting mad with you, and then he or she don't take your grandchildren, if you have grandchildren, be spiteful, vice versa, or the parent's going to take something from the child, all kind of crazy stuff, or at coworkers, it's going to cause you not being promoted, it's going to cause you to stop eating lunch together, it's going to cause you to do this, it's going to cause you to do that, it could cause potentially lose a job or lose a friendship. Got to get it. Aggravation, boy. Got to get that under check. Aggravation is something that can be quelled if you identify it and approach it in a civilized and open minded way. Let me say that one more time. Aggravation is something that can be quelled if you identify it and approach it in a civilized and open minded way. A lot of times when we set in our ways and we're aggravated, we don't want to listen to reason. We're going to go ahead and just, nope, doing it this way. If you don't like it, tough, tough, tough. Well, they used to maybe work back 10, 15, 20 years ago. But now in today's world, if you want to be successful, if you want to be a proactive leader, a proactive husband, proactive wife, proactive whatever you want to put in that blank, you're going to have to, like I did yesterday, you're going to have to walk in that person's shoes. You're going to have to take the high road. You're going to have to try and count to 10, count to 100, count to 1,000. Breathe in deeply, breathe out, and stop and try and get the aggravation under control. Um, If it's the job, then you go to someone who is the decision maker and talk to them. If it's a friendship, then you go to that person respectfully and find a compromising solution. That is what you got to do. That's what I always try to do. If it's at the job, then you go to someone who is a decision maker, and you talk to that person, express your views, express your aggravation, and then he or she may try and find a possible and peaceful solution, reasonable solution to the matter. Or if it's a friend, someone that you care about, if it's a friendship, you feel that friendship may be strained or on the line, then you need to go to that person in a respectful manner and find a compromising solution and talk it out and express that person the source of aggravation, because maybe they don't know they're aggravating you. Sometimes that's possible. Sometimes they may be know they're aggravating you and just don't care. But you have to make that step and talk about it out and say, look, this is aggravating me because of ABC 1, 2, 3. You gotta do that. If you do that, then the ball is no longer in your court. You pass it on to them, and then whether or not they gonna be big enough, smart enough, whatever the case may be, and try and change it or do whatever, then you know how to act accordingly. But if you're aggravated, sitting there thinking that people are gonna read your mind and know that you're aggravated, sometime ain't gonna happen. Sometimes it just ain't gonna happen. It won't happen. So open your mouth and go in a respectful manner, a tactful manner, and just tell them, hey, I'm aggravated because of this, this, and this. I do it all the time. If it's a parent and a child, you have to fight to preserve that relationship at all costs. I believe family is important. I believe a true friendship is important. You got to fight to preserve that. If that aggravation is leading to the different steps I said, aggravation leads to disdain. Disdain leads to resentment, and resentment leads to anger, and anger leads to hatred. You got to fight that. You find a way to see the other's point of view. Sometimes it may you require to give more and go the extra mile. But I believe if they actively see you going the extra mile and giving in, it's going to be reciprocated. If that person gives a damn about you and they truly see that you're trying to make a difference, trying to make amends, then I believe that they will reciprocate that. If they get a heart, they get a soul, they get a conscience, they're going to reciprocate that. Let's say there's some kind of Grinch or something, but they see that you're actually trying to change. You're not doing the same things you used to do. You're not doing that same thing that was the point of aggravation for them. They're going to try and change and reciprocate if they give a damn about you. I truly believe that. Like I said, I don't know why I didn't get a quote of the day. Please forgive me, but that won't happen again. But like I said, this is my word of the day. Aggravation. And like I said, Monday through Friday, you will see me here, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time. It'll be uploaded to YouTube. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Like I said, tune into this, man. This is Comment Chats, encouragement series, man. Something I'm trying to do. Like I said, in case those who don't know, recently became a new Christian, gave my life to God on April 21st, 2023. And this is something, like I said, I used to send to my children 2 or 3 times a week. Just words of encouragement. I felt like it was something I felt compelled to do this and share it with you. So I hope that you like what you're seeing. And in the words of The Rock, can you smell what Mr. Comment Chat is cooking? Till next time.